Okay, so here we are doing the linest command or linest command in a spreadsheet. I've put all the stuff in from project 1, and here's my data, my X and Y, my explanatory, my response over here, and so unfortunately our template's not quite the same sort of template as we've had before, because if there's not an easy way. There is a way, but there's not an easy way to handle blank spaces in the regression stuff. So here, I have to highlight my 5x2 region. So notice it's all highlighted, and then I start typing in my command. Open parenthesis, and again notice data Y, so it wants the response variable first, and I'll highlight down to there. So I've got that one, then a comma, and then it wants my X values. Okay, so I have that, and then a 1 for an intercept, and then a 1 to produce all the stats, and close off that parenthesis there. So there I have it. Now you can't really see me do this. I don't think I could I could push my laptop camera down maybe, but then I'm not sure I could see it. Let's see. Yeah, no, not going to happen. So you can't actually see me with the keys, but I'm holding down the control key right now. Now I'm holding down the shift key, so I've got both keys held down, and then I hit enter, and that is when everything in that shaded area gets filled in. And so I see my slope is 0.74, my intercept is 30.6. I have my degrees of freedom here is 8, and I have 10 items, right? 10 rows, and so the 10 minus 2 is 8. I have my R squared value, 0.65, well, about 0.66, and so that's not bad for an R squared. And I just need a p-value, and let's see. So my p-value I get from the t-distribution, so equals t-dist, and I need the number. Okay, so my number is oh gosh, I didn't put my number in here now that I think about it, so let me back up and we'll put that in. I'm going to move these down, so I'll do a Control X and Control V and put them there. So here I need my t statistic. We'll keep things rolling, and for my t statistic I need my coefficient here divided by my standard error, and so that's equal, and I take the coefficient in E2 divided by the standard error there, E3, and I can look at this and see that, okay, it's 3.9. Well, I pretty much know if it's bigger than 2.5, I'm good. So this will be significant. I don't know what the p-value will be, but it will be below 0.05. And so now I'm ready to do my t-dist and my number. So I take my t statistic, then my degrees of freedom up here, and then mode, it says, now it's a little hidden here, but a 2 for the two-tailed test. So 2, and close that off and hit enter. And yes, see, I have a p-value that is very small, less than 0.01, down to 0.0044. So there is using the line command. And again, the problem with this is it's not quite a true template, in that, notice if I had a couple fewer items of data here, so I'll backspace, get rid of that. See, I get a bunch of errors. It does not handle space in there at all. I have to have the right number, and so I'll just go up here and undo that, and you see it fills everything back in. So if I were to add a new data set, and you know, who knows, you know, here's a 20 and a 30. That's funny that that one's not centered. And suppose here we had again maybe a 25 and a 35. Notice nothing changed because it doesn't automatically take into account the new data. So what I would have to do is, again, I would just have to go in here and do it all again. So equals line_est, open parenthesis, get my y data first, comma, get my x data, and then 1, 1, and close that off. And remember the Control Shift and hold those down and hit enter. And now you see I have 10 degrees of freedom, and you know, very, very small p-value. But in that way, you always have to redo it. I don't, like I say, I don't have an easy way. I have a way. I've made a template where I can, you know, put in any columns, and it just automatically, I don't have to retype anything. I just put in the data and it does it. But it involves a very long line of commands to get that done. So in our case, this isn't too bad to do this, and we can try to corroborate these things by simply adding a chart. So, you know, I could highlight these two things, and I can insert a chart, and I want a scatter plot. So I'll do that, and I'll say finish, and there's my scatter plot, quite big. And then if I hover over, and there are various ways to do this, but pretty much any spreadsheet, I think if you hover over a data item and right click, it will give you some options. And here I want to insert a trend line, and there's linear. I'll do that, and then I'll say please show the equation and show R squared, and I'll say OK. And notice that the slope here, I'll have to move this thing out of the way. So let me move it down a little more. There we go. And notice here the 1.097, the 1.097, 5.7, 5.7. So we can get the slope and the intercept just from plotting and adding that trend line. I can get the R squared just from adding that trend line, the 0.933. So that's a nice thing. So as far as the model and how well it fits, great. I can see that, but I don't actually have a p-value with that, and so that's where we need to take that standard error, divide the coefficient by the standard error, get our t-statistic, and compute our p-value that way. Okay, but that's a nice thing we can do with a plot, and so we can plot the data very easily and come up with our model just fine. Okie doke. So I think that will do that for this video.